Tony, welcome to go.
Hey, Joe, how are you?
I gotta pat you down though, pal.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Got anything on you? Anything I should know?
I got nothing.
Anything weird going on?
What?
All right, you go in, Tony. Good.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Tom Kelly of The Tom Kelly Show. Yes, this is not the only time I've gotten on my knees in the back room of a comedy club.
The Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show is also brought to you by Two Eagles Auto Body. For more than 25 years, Two Eagles Auto Body has been the leader in auto body repairs and customer satisfaction on Long Island. Two Eagles Auto Body handles every type of auto repair from custom applications and restorations to repairs involving insurance claims. Give Two Eagles Auto Body a call and please ask for John Rossi at 516-328-2527. That's 516-328-2527.
Hey, how do you say there, people? It's Johnny Brennan, creator of the Jerky Boys, also of Fox TV's Family Guy fame. I just want to let you know you're listening to Tony on the Knockem Dead radio show. They're gonna keep knocking them dead, so keep listening, you wacky sons of bitch. Right there. Over and out there, sweet Charlie.
Long time no see, man. Hey, man, I miss you guys, man, at Knockem Dead Comedy Radio.
Hey Tony, you're not funny, and you probably shit yourself a lot, and you're no fun to be with, and you don't make that much money, and you're not going anywhere in show business, and I hope you get hit by a bus.
Born and working, lives in Southampton, Elio draws on his inherited Italian musical flair to present us with one of his own songs, Take You Home. Opportunity knocks now for act number 6, Elio Pace.
We've been out and about all day since 2:30. And driving in my car is not what I planned to do. Well, I think it's time I told you, baby, in black and white. I can't believe you'd wanna be alone tonight. So come on, baby, let me take you home. Woo! Yeah. Back to my apartment, we'll dance, we'll have some fun. And when we're through with dancing, that's when the night's begun. We can sit and talk the night away, it's up to you. Let me show I love you if you want me to. So come on, baby, let me take you home. Tonight, come back with me, we'll leave a message for your be shy now, honey. You know I got a heart for sale. Woo, woo. Can't you see it in the stars, the moon? He says it's right. The twinkle in your eye set me alight. So come on, baby, let me take you home. Oh, let's go. Now I've spoken my mind and you know exactly how I feel. Don't be shy now, honey, you know I got a heart for sale. Can't you see it in the stars, the moon? He says it's right. The twinkle in your eye set me alight. So come on, baby, let me take you home. Oh yeah, I say come on, baby, let me take you home. I'm gonna tell you one more time. Come on, baby, let me take you home.
Thank you very much on behalf of a very gifted graduate music student. Your act number 6, Elio Pace.
Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, November 21st. Welcome to the Knockem Dead Comedy Show, coming at you live from the legendary Governor's Comedy Club right here in Levittown, New York. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us today. Just adjusting my levels here. I think I came across a little loud there. Sorry. Gov's Comedy Club Podcast. That's the name of the YouTube channel that this show is on today. The Knockem Dead Comedy Show. Gov's Comedy Club Podcast, Facebook and YouTube. If you're on the Facebook page, please follow the page. We'd appreciate it. If you're on the YouTube feed, please subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up and all that good stuff. No matter which page you're on, please be sure to share the link to all of your socials. Tell everybody you know about all the great shows here at Gov's Comedy Club Podcast, because we do have a lot of great shows. And it's a big day. It's a big day, ladies and gentlemen. Elio Pace will be joining us in about 10 minutes. Elio Pace will be joining us in about 10 minutes. It's been a while since he's been on. I think February or March, I think, was the last time he was here. So we're excited. You just saw the clip of Elio back from 1988. That was May of 1988. So a month later, I graduated high school. So Elio had hair back then, I had hair back then, and Frank had hair back then. So today it's 3 bald guys. 2 bald guys joined by another bald guy. There you go. Good morning, Frank. I'm all right. Yourself? I do. Yeah, so, and if you're watching today, you want to say hi to Elio. So when I posted that Elio was going to be on, I said to you guys, please in the comments, post your questions for Elio, which I did. I printed them out. I got a whole bunch here. I got my own questions. I got questions that you guys asked. I don't know. Frank may have one or two. But if you would like to ask Elio a question, if you didn't comment on any of the posts and you'd like to ask Elio a question, or you just want to comment and say how much you're enjoying the show, please join us on the YouTube feed, because that is where we monitor the comments. Gov's Comedy Club Podcast on YouTube. So we thank you for joining us. Elio will be joining us in about 10 minutes. As you see right up that way. You see the picture of Elio, the graphic. Elio Pace, My Songbook, My Life. That is the current tour he's got going on. He's got 2 more dates happening next week. And it's a different tour for him. He's been performing the Billy Joel Songbook for, I think it's 11 years now. Very successful tour over there in Europe. It's been going well. But Elio decided to do his own songbook. He's doing a bunch of dates, performing his own material, and some covers by some other people. So we're going to talk to him about that. And if you're in the England area next week, go see him. You will not be disappointed. John Rusciello, good morning. Andrew Fremder says, no sound from Frank. Frank, speak. Yeah, he's right. Hang on. Keep talking, Frank. Let's see. Hang on. Let me see what I got going on here. Try again. No, don't see it. Hang on. Oh, goodness.
Hello, hello, hello.
Oh, I think
1, 2, 1, 2.
All right, I think we got you. Hang on. Let me double check. Hang on.
Okay.
Try again. I'm checking the YouTube feed. It's on a delay. Hang on.
Yeah.
Hang on. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness.
Hello, hello, hello.
Oh, okay.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Yep, you're working.
Okay, good.
Thank you, Fremder. Thanks for letting us know. Okay. Yeah, that you definitely saved us, Fremder, because that would have stunk if Elio joined us and you guys couldn't hear him. Okay. All right. So looks like John Rusciello says it looks like Mike Kaplan in the picture. Yeah. All right. So what'd you do there? You put together this picture of Elio and me and Billy Joel and you?
Right. Yep. We're in Billy's driveway.
Oh, that's Billy Joel's house?
Yeah.
Is that the one he's selling?
Yeah, it was. I got it off of Zillow.
I actually know, well, I shouldn't say no, but I met the guy who was one of the photographers who took pictures throughout the house when Billy was putting it up for sale.
Oh yeah.
And he was telling me how immaculate it was, and yeah, and then he eventually sent me I don't know if it was Zillow or another link, but he sent me a link to see it, and yeah, the pictures are incredible. It was pictures of the whole house.
Oh yeah, every room, every
Yeah.
shaped yard, the whole thing. Yeah.
And so he's selling the house, but he's not leaving Long Island completely, right? He still has another 2 houses, I believe, on the island.
I think so. Yeah, something like that.
So yeah, so he's just flat leaving for warmer climates, I guess, down in Florida, which kind of bugs me. Like he's one of the people that represents Long Island, and now he's just going to be a part-timer.
Well, I was watching the other day his speech from the Hall of Fame last year, and he's like, "I'm not leaving Long Island. This is my home. I'm keeping my home here." Didn't mention anything about Florida, but.
Hello there, dear God. Thanks for watching. Saw that you were able to get rain in New York. Yes, it is finally raining in New York today, and it's supposed to rain all day today and tomorrow, and we're happy about that because it has not rained in I think it's been 3 months. I think we've gone 3 months here in New York without rain. So, so we need it, and we'll take it. Perfect day to stay inside and watch this show.
There you go.
Elio Pace joining us in a few minutes. Comedian legend Rob Bartlett joining me in the studio tomorrow. So we got good shows to close out the week. Elio today, Rob Bartlett tomorrow. Rob Bartlett for, I don't know, if you're in England watching, you're waiting for Elio, you might not know who Rob Bartlett is, but in America, Rob Bartlett's probably his biggest claim to fame was he was a part of Don Imus's show. There's a picture of Rob. That's probably, I would say that's probably what he looked like. If he had a prime, I would say that was his prime. He looks nothing like that now. He is very old and looks nothing like that now.
Nice.
Looking forward to Rob. He's a great guy and just such a talented man. He's been on Broadway. He's been on TV shows. He was an announcer on WWE for a while. Or with WWE, I should say. Yeah, just a great, great guy, big talent, and one of the pioneers of the Long Island comedy boom of the 80s when Bob Nelson hit, when Eddie Murphy hit, Rosie O'Donnell, Jackie the Joke Man, who went on to work with Howard Stern for all those years. Rob Bartlett was one of the pioneers, man, and made it happen, led the way for people like Joey Cola, Adam Ferrara, Kevin James. So, yeah, looking forward to that tomorrow. Okay. Elio Pace will be joining us soon. Looking forward to that. Oh, you know what I'll do? Oh, you know what? I'll ask you first. You actually listened to Elio's album. His album is called A Seat at My Table. It's available on eliopace.com. You will not find it on iTunes. It used to be there, but good for Elio. He wasn't making any money there. Artists put their music there because it's the biggest exposure. It's where they're seen, but they don't even get a penny per song. It's ridiculous. So Elio pulled his music off iTunes. Go to eliopace.com and you can buy his CDs and his DVDs. You just listened to A Seat at My Table this morning.
Last night and this morning, yeah. Half last night, half this morning.
Okay. Anything more you'd like to say about that?
That's it.
That's it. Okay, great. Thanks for that. Okay, so before Elio comes on, I will read. There's a gentleman called Mark Whitehead. He's in England, and he saw this current Elio tour. And I'm going to read. He sent me a long review of it, but I'm just going to read snippets of it because in his review he almost goes song by song. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to give like the set list away or anything. So I'm not gonna. So I'm just going to read snippets of the of his review. He says, "You only live once, but if you do it right, once is enough." This quote is commonly attributed to the American actress Mae West, but it elegantly captures the life story of Elio Pace, son of Italian immigrants to the UK. His family swapped the tangled romanticism of Naples for the pragmatic opportunities of Eastleigh. That's a city in England. Nurtured an Anglo-Italian household of passion, love, and music, so much music, Elio Pace has become one of the UK's most enduring musical talents. Our very own piano man, he says. In my songbook, My Life, we get to see the musical talents of Elio Pace expressed through his own songwriting and musical dexterity. What emerges is a perfect synthesis of original music and musicianship set against the backdrop of British, American, and even a little Italian musical history. I would challenge anyone with a love and appreciation of music to watch this show and not be left slack-jawed, British slang, and not be left slack-jawed and inspired by the sight of a true musical maestro at work. Mark Whitehead has done a lot of writing for Elio. I've seen him post things in the past. He's a very good writer, and that, to me, that's a perfect introduction for Elio. But there's more. He writes about the song "You Loved Me Too." I am convinced that if Elvis had recorded this, it would be now immortalized on his album of number ones. Mark Whitehead calls the first half of Elio's show a set that has already been a masterclass in the arts of musicianship and live performance. There can be a few musicians alive today who can move between classical rock and roll to blues to country with such panache. The joyous enthusiasm of my songbook, My Show, is the perfect musical expression of Elio Pace's personality, while his seamless fusion of a big band sound and rock and roll vibe is an impeccable distillation of his musical signature. Okay, and lastly, another paragraph here. I've reflected a lot on the show in the days that have followed with the passage of time and the opening up of some critical distance. I have come to admire it even more. I just don't see anyone else apart from Elio Pace being able to deliver such a virtuoso performance of original but often undiscovered songwriting. It is like he is at the perfect stage of his career, experienced enough to be able confidently fuse his music and storytelling into a tight and compelling musical narrative, but young enough to meet the vocal demands of the set. Also, what other performer alive today could channel the influence of rock and roll revivalism, Italian romanticism, Billy Joel, and Elvis so convincingly? Yeah, by the way, Elio did an Elvis show at one point too. You can go on YouTube and see clips, or just go buy the album on eliopace.com. It's fantastic. It's just Elio at a piano and a drummer. No full band. It's just the two of them. And you would think that doesn't like you kind of, when I first heard he was doing that, I'm like, what? Why just a piano and drums? You got to see it. It works. It works beautifully. I have also mused on the overall sound of the show, the way in which Elio's band produced an intoxicating acoustic envelope, a wall of beautiful sound. My reflections also left me with a series of nagging questions. Why don't more people know about Elio Pace? Why don't we hear his music on the radio more often? Why isn't he a superstar? I've been asking myself the same question there, Mr. Whitehead. The answer to these questions is undoubtedly a complicated and multi-layered one. I like to think, however, that one reason is because Elio has become exactly the type of principled, independent musician he wants to be. It is because he has maintained an authentic alignment between himself, his music, and his life. Interesting. Perhaps this is the lesson we can all take from my songbook, My Life. We only have one life, but if we live it right, one is more than enough. Well said, Mr. Whitehead. Yeah, and I actually might ask. That's interesting. I might ask Elio that if it was a purpose, if he purposely kind of made that alignment between himself, his music, and his life. Not many people can do that. A lot of people sacrifice their whole life and throw themselves in there. Alignment between himself, his music, and his life. Turn your. There you. Turn the computer down. Got to teach this guy everything. Is more than enough. Well said, Mr. Whitehead. All right. I thought he was coming on, but I don't know. Maybe. Elio, do you know that you're on? We can hear you. We can hear your computer. People can do that. A lot of people sacrifice their whole life and throw themselves. There he is, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I don't know who else that is. Hello there. Hang on, Elio.
Hello.
Elio, did you bring somebody on as a surprise? Elio, can you hear me?
I think that not Matt, what's the band?
Elio, we hear you.
Have an interim, but I believe that
you can hear me.
Yes, I hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
He's with visions, he's doing things. So I think.
Hold on, let me try something.
All right. It's definitely your end, pal. Sorry, but it's definitely your end. Hello.
Hello, Tony. Can you hear me?
Yes. We hear you loud and clear.
I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Give me a second to just fix some graphics here so that I can get you guys in there better.
Sorry about that.
No. Totally fine. Let me do that. All right, hang on.
Hey, it's Frank.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very, very well. How are you, mate?
Doing good, thank you.
Yeah.
I listened to the album last night and this morning. It is amazing.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. Oh my God.
Wow. Where do we go from there, Tony?
That's it. So long.
Good night.
We're done.
That means a lot. That means a lot coming from Frank because you're a fine guitar player. I've heard you play,
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It always means so much when another musician, loves your stuff. So I appreciate that, Frank.
Definitely.
My friend, how are you, sir?
Hello, Tony. I'm extremely well. It was wonderful to see you both and to have the brothers. The brothers. Yeah. Come on.
I said earlier, it's two bald men joined by another bald man.
I know. Proud to be bald as well. Proud.
Absolutely. Yeah. I did not have good hair, so I was more than fine with shaving it all off.
Oh, it's just so much easier. Everything's quick. The time it took to get it all ready, you can achieve much more in your life now. It's so much quicker and easier.
Absolutely.
And so can you hear me okay? Because I've got one of this microphone. Can you hear me? Is it good?
It's perfect.
Yes.
Great.
It's great. Thank you, pal.
Great. Well, thank you for inviting me to your show again, Tony. I always love chatting with you. And
absolutely.
And the fact you brought Frank along as well, who's a muso. So Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Always, for me personally, it's always a pleasure to chat with you. And it's, for the show, it's always good. You're one of our favorite guests, and we always have a great time. And the numbers are always good when you join us. So you should be here every day. Before
careful
we,
what you wish for, Tony. Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, right. Before we get down to business and discuss my life, my songbook, My Life, which has 2 more shows next week. Some other things I'd like to cover with you first. First, number 1, how was Sally and Paul's wedding?
Oh, joyous.
Yeah.
Loving, fun, real. It was just such a beautiful celebration of them.
Yeah.
And it had so many elements that is absolutely them. It was filled with music from start to finish. And Paul, Paul loves his music, and Sally loves her music. I mean, do you know anybody on this earth who goes out to see concerts more than those two do?
No. I know some people come close, but no, I don't think anybody sees more concerts more than
every single week. I mean, I don't think a single week goes by that they don't go out and see probably at least 2 concerts. So they're watching at least 100 shows, and it's really diverse. It's they're great people, and I was extremely honored to be there and to be Paul's best man. And we had a lot of fun, and it was great. At one point, he said to me, "Mate, you got to get up and would you mind singing a couple of?" I said, "I don't mind singing, of course." So he threw me a microphone, and his brother was running the music that night from the decks. It was great.
Oh, nice.
Eclectic mix of music that was pumping out. It was brilliant, And he gave me the mic, and Uptown Girl came on. And it was the karaoke version, right? In the original key of E. Now I've been doing it in D because Frank, you'll testify to this. It gets quite high.
Oh yeah.
So he gave me the mic. I was facing everyone doing Uptown Girl, and I said, "No, come on, let's all." So I put my back to everybody, and we started the dance. And then you had 100 people doing the boom, doom, doom, kick, doom, 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 kick. Oh, it was great. It was a lovely, beautiful day of love, and it was just great.
Yeah. Excellent. Very happy to hear that, and congratulations to them. Just a few quick things I want to cover before we get to the tour.
Yeah, sure.
The next thing, very excited for not only next week is 2 more dates of your tour, but it is also the release of the debut album by the Deccan Traps.
Oh my God! I tell you, I've known Neil Fairclough, bass player in my band, for over 30 years now. I've known him we're coming up to our 32nd year, and we've been playing music for that long. When he doesn't do my show, he plays with so many other people, but his other gig is Queen, Adam Lambert and Queen.
Yep.
Bass for them now for about 11 or 12 years. I've known Neil for 3 decades, and he's been talking about releasing an album for 32 years.
Oh, wow.
And the fact that next Friday, on the day of my last show, my last public show of the year, actually, it's been an amazing year. On that day, as we travel from Alnwick, one side of England to the other, from east to west to Kendal, on that day, I say Neil's album, it's the Deccan Traps, but Neil is one of a team of writers on there of 3 people. His sister Lois and her husband John. The 3 of them have written all the material. And knowing Neil the way I do, I would imagine Neil's input, production-wise, arrangement-wise, has been extraordinarily massive on this album. So it does feel like Neil Fairclough has finally released his first album to the world, and we've all heard bits and pieces from it, but it's just fantastic. It's gonna be amazing. I honestly think that they're gonna set a new bar. I'm not going to be so bold to say around the world because I don't know other rock bands, but certainly the rock bands that I experience in this country, I can only think of one other. But Neil and his band, I think, will set a new bar in prog rock songs.
Wow.
I really do. We've not had anything like this for years. And of course, he's standing on the shoulders of giants, just like we all are, right? But they have done something wonderful with this. It is extraordinary music, beautiful twists and turns. It's elongated. They haven't really said we need to write some singles. We need to, hit the charts. We need to be commercial. They've just gone with their soul and what they love, and unhindered by a record company, unhindered by publicists and marketing people. It's an independent record. I'm so proud of him and the others. The guitar player on there is Johnny Hayes, who's played the Billy Joel Songbook with me many times.
Yeah.
Toured Denmark with me. So phenomenal guitar player, brilliant drummer, and Andy Treacy, Neil on bass. You've got all these guys. It's fantastic. And I really do think that it will set a new bar in rock music.
Wow. Bold statement right there. And Brian May, you mentioned that Neil plays with Queen. Brian May actually makes an appearance on the album.
Yeah, as everyone found out today, they announced it today.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to understand, right? This is what makes this whole story about Neil so beautiful. When I first met Neil, Frank, I was in a recording studio. I'd taken him down from the north of England, asked him to come down days before mobile phones, internet. This was 1993. Okay. So, 31 years. I said to him, I went to college with his sister, Sue, and she used to go on about her brother, Neil. So one day I called Neil, brother Neil, and I said, "Hey, Neil, Elio here. Oh, yeah, how you doing, man? Good to, yeah." I said, "Would you like to come down from Manchester to London? I'll get your train fare. I'll put you up. And I'd need some bass playing on this particular track I'm recording, my first ever demo of my own songs. And a song that's not on a seat at my table, actually, Frank. It's called Holding You." And he came down, he blew me away. And I remember that day in the studio, the very first proper conversation that we had, Neil and I, was about our favorites. And of course, I went with Billy Joel and Elvis Presley, and he went with Queen and Michael McDonald.
Nice.
So, So, I mean, right there, right? Elvis, Billy, Queen, Michael McDonald. That's a nice collection of music right there. And he went on about Freddie Mercury and how much he loves Queen and blah, 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 blah. So for him to meet Brian May on Weekend Wogan that we did 14 years ago on the BBC, when Brian came on the show, he wasn't even supposed to play the guitar that day. He was just going to supervise a girl who he had, a fantastic singer, Kerry Ellis, who he had produced her debut album. And I convinced him to bring a guitar. I said, you can't come and just watch a rehearsal. And I said, come and play. He said, really? I said, yeah, come and play. He said, I haven't played live for a long time. I said, bring a guitar, please. I said, apart from anything, my bass player, Neil, is your biggest fan. Oh, okay, I will. Well, to cut a longer, intricate story short, the fact that Neil, a year later, 2 years later, I think, well, no, it was about 18 months later, ended up doing his first gig when Queen and Adam Lambert came on the scene as this, they've got, Queen are getting back together, and, with Roger Taylor, we know that John Deacon's not, but that's why Neil got the gig, because John Deacon didn't want to do it.
Wow.
Freddie's gone. We know Freddie's gone. They replaced with Adam Lambert, who I think is probably one of the greatest male singers ever. He's incredible live. And and so for Neil to get that gig, number one, is incredible. Incredible. He's been there for 12 years. Neil has played Madison Square Garden. He's played the Hollywood Bowl. He's played Tokyo Dome. And then he comes back, this is like 5 years ago. I remember once he did all those gigs. He came back, changed his clothes, got on a train, came down and played with me in front of 450 people. What's beautiful about the man is that it made no difference to the way he played at all.
That's great.
He didn't walk. He didn't come backstage, to your show. Oh,
yeah. Where's my dressing room?
That's right.
But the fact that Brian May has sort of returned the compliment and gone, your music's is amazing, and your music's amazing, and I'd like to play on it.
Wow.
I can only imagine how Neil felt when he got that message from Brian.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We've played some of their music on here, and you even brought Neil on once. It's great stuff. I'm really looking forward to hearing that album. And something I talk about often on this show is one of the only times in my life that I was ever truly starstruck was meeting Brian May, and it was because of Neil. Neil brought me backstage at Madison Square Garden, and that alone, backstage at Madison Square Garden, to me that's almost like getting a private tour of the White House. To be at Madison Square Garden where so much history has taken place, and then I'm shaking hands with Brian May, sitting at a table with him while he was snacking on some food after the show. It was truly unbelievable. And Neil, what you left out about Neil is that he's one of the funniest people you will ever meet in your life.
Oh, I honestly, I could go on forever talking about Neil. He's one of my favorite people on this earth. I'm blessed to have come across him. I'm blessed that he stuck around with me for years. And yes, he is so quick. He's so funny. Yeah. He has a lovely, lovely way with everyone. He just relates. It doesn't matter whether my mum comes to say hello backstage or whether, another musician does, or my little girl, he's just one of the finest people, and everybody's going to say that about him.
I'll just one quick story about Neil, then we'll move on. Again, him being as funny as he is, you'll attest to this. He does this thing when he's hanging around with people where he fake trips. Right? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, and it's so convincing. It's perfect. So the first time I saw him with Queen was down in Philly, and Roger Taylor's up at the front. He's doing the band intros, right? So Queen has a stage, and they also have like this little aisle center stage that goes out, so that everybody walks out there. Sometimes they'll play some songs out that way, then they'll come back to the main stage. So he's introducing the band, and each member is coming down this aisle about halfway. They take a bow, they wave, they go back. So Roger Taylor introduces Neil, and I got the phone out, and because I want to record Neil getting his introduction. So he comes out, he bow, he waves. He's walking back, and he's looking backstage to his right. He's looking at somebody. I don't know who he's looking at, but he does this. He does just a little quick. It wasn't, as big as he would normally do it, say, in front of us if we're just hanging out. And I'm sure, Queen probably would have killed him. So he just did a little tiny one, just laughing with whoever he's looking at backstage. And then you see if you're watching the footage from my phone, you see the shaking because I start to laugh so hard.
Yeah.
So it's great.
It's both wrong and yet hysterically funny at the same time.
And that kind of sums Neil up right there, doesn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. He is. No, he's got a great sense of humor. And do you know what? I mean, people like Neil, so creative and stuff. They don't, people, I mean, you look at the history of rock and roll and the characters that have made great music.
True. Very true.
We're talking about a character here who is prepared to feign tripping on a stage. It could be worse, right? There's been much more characterful, incidences. I think it's mischievous and naughty at the same time.
Absolutely right.
You just can't not love Neil. You
Yeah.
just can't not.
All right, moving on. Two more quick things, then we're going to get to the tour. This is very quick. It's a little coincidental that you're here. We did not plan this, but you with the Billy Joel songbook, which has taken off and is doing tremendously well. Coincidentally, a good friend of our show who was in the Billy Joel world, we just, either yesterday or the day before, I forget if it's the 19th or the 20th, but it's the 2-year anniversary of our dear friend Captain Jack, who passing away.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I don't know, you guys, I don't know if you can see it from looking at me on Zoom, but if you have the YouTube feed up somewhere, you'll see I got a picture of Captain Jack right there in the middle. That is the man that the song was written about. A great, great man. He is a hero. He was a war veteran. He was not only in the front lines. He was one of those guys that set up the front lines. He was ahead of everybody else, setting up what would be the front lines. So this guy saw some stuff, and he's a true hero. He had a little bit of a crazy life, but seemed to get himself together by the time he passed, and he was a very nice man. He was on this show several times. He used to watch regularly. He called in regularly, and he is missed. So that's a picture there, me and him. And then there's a picture there. Not only I'm posting this one for two reasons. One, he's wearing a Knockem Dead comedy shirt, but also he's standing there with his beloved dog Cooper. That I don't think he loved anything more than that dog. So just wanted to dedicate the show to him today. And
That's lovely.
Yeah, he's missed. Okay, now the last thing. I think you and I may have talked about this yesterday when we were catching up. Me and Frank are just going to pat ourselves on the back a little bit. For last week, we had a gentleman from Ireland who does a lot of work in Germany. Andy Dunn is his name. He's a musician. He writes some pretty cool songs. Right. You have on your website some upcoming Germany gigs. So I don't know which one, but I do believe he grabbed himself some tickets to go see you in Germany next year.
Well, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you to both of you. Thanks for, in my absence, bashing me around people's heads nonstop. But thank you for that. It's wonderful. We go to Germany and Switzerland in February. So as I say, these will be next week's my last gigs of this year, but my first public shows of next year will be in Germany, and I'm really, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and that's the Billy Joel songbook.
We're going to go back to doing the Billy Joel songbook. Yes, right. Of course. Yeah, I mean, listen, I couldn't be happier at the moment. I've got the Billy Joel songbook, which I do for one reason, because I truly believe, I've said it to you before. You keep saying, quoting me as if I said I think he's the greatest American singer-songwriter. I think he's the greatest singer-songwriter, full stop. Not American, just all time.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that's why I do the Billy Joel songbook, because when I started 10 years ago doing that show, nobody was doing it. Nobody was performing Goodnight Saigon live. Nobody was performing Lullaby live. Nobody. In fact, I don't think hardly anybody was performing even the hits live. So I had to create this show to scratch an itch, a 30-year itch. Mm-hmm. And I could never have dreamt at that point that it would reach the heights that we've reached with that show now.
Well, go ahead, sorry.
No, sorry, you go ahead.
Well, that was a perfect segue to now catch up a little bit. Since you were last on this show, you've done at least one other Billy Joel songbook tour, which included a show at the London Palladium.
A sellout show.
A sellout show at the London Palladium.
It was, that is a line in the sand as far as my career story goes. We all performers, musicians, performers, actors, comedians, dancers here in Britain, we all aspire to what performing at the London Palladium means to our culture. And to have done it on April the 12th this year to a full house to watch the Billy Joel songbook, well, it was a dream come true. Probably one of my biggest dreams.
The picture I just showed was a picture of you and me in front of the London Palladium. Unfortunately, not on that night, but still a picture of us in front of the place.
I can't see the pictures you're posting.
Which is why I was explaining, because I had a feeling you couldn't see it. So
no, I couldn't see. I couldn't see the pictures. But yeah, no, we did. So I think we spoke in February, just a few days after Billy released his first single for many, many, many years.
Correct.
We spoke there, and then I was just about to go to Germany and Switzerland, and we had 3 shows. And then a few weeks later was the UK and Ireland tour. The German shows, 3 shows we did, were so successful that they've asked us back to do 10 shows in a few months' time. And that UK tour we did, UK and Ireland tour, and we took in Glasgow, Royal Concert Hall, Palladium, Southampton, Mayflower, my local theatre growing up, one of the biggest and most beautiful theatres in the country, another 2,200 people, Dublin, Belfast, Sheffield, Edinburgh. I mean, it was just Liverpool. It was the most amazing Billy Joel songbook tour we've done. And as I say, to have done the Palladium. And then right at the end of the tour, we did another London show, and that was recorded by the BBC, who then went on to put that out worldwide on BBC Sound's website.
Right.
And,
Twice.
Can I give you an exclusive?
An exclusive?
I'm going to give you guys an exclusive.
You're pregnant.
How did you guess? No. They did it twice. They were supposed to do it once.
Right.
They asked me, this is getting a lot of hits. How do you feel about us putting it out in September? And I went, yeah, do it. Because every time it's aired on BBC Radio Wales, which is the national radio station of Wales, it then stays on the BBC website for another 30 days. You can listen to it, listen again.
Right.
Well, I'm delighted to say and announce here on your podcast that they're doing it for a 3rd time. So the Billy Joel songbook, recorded live at Bloomsbury Theatre on Billy Joel's 75th birthday, presented by Rod Woodward, fantastic comedian and presenter in this country. BBC Radio Wales are going to broadcast the show again on Boxing Day morning, UK time at 7 a.m. So, and then it will be on BBC Sounds for another 30 days into 2025. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Honestly, I said about 5-10 minutes ago, I've never been sort of happier in my life, really, in career-wise. I've got all that going on. And then I know that you're going to love this as a segue. After 11 years, I've just come back to do my own material, where Frank very kindly said that, he enjoyed, the reaction we've had from the first 2 shows. I put 4 shows together. It was only 4 dates because I don't take anything for granted. I didn't expect that the success of the Billy Joel songbook would automatically translate into ticket sales to do my own material. I don't know. If I'd booked Glasgow Concert Hall to do my own material, maybe I would still be playing in front of 350 people there. But we filled 4 400-seater places. And to me, when I go back to doing this 10 years ago and further, because the first thing I really, really ever wanted to do was to sing my own material live.
Right.
But without the backing of a record company, without the backing of the money, the publicity, the machine, it is very, very difficult to keep that going and to make a living at it. And I couldn't sustain it any longer. So to come back and to have filled 4 of these places where 11 to 14 years ago, I would have been lucky to have bring 120 people in.
Right.
I'm absolutely over the moon.
And that was actually, that touches a little about something what we talked about before you came on. the trying to make a living at it, and how you very bold but the right move, pulling your album off of iTunes, which we've talked about other times that you've been here. But I want to go back, and we did play to open the show. We played "Take Me Home" from Opportunity Knocks. We did play that to open the show.
Did you?
Yeah.
Proof that I was
exactly.
in that hair. And you, Frank. Yeah, I know.
But the to say that it's 4 shows. Correct me if maybe if I'm remembering this wrong, but wasn't it as a testament to how things have gotten so good for you? Wasn't it originally supposed to be 3?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Exactly.
I thought I was dreaming.
Tell you what, it nearly became 5 as well.
Yes, I do remember that.
And if I'd gone seeking a bit more, I could have built it up to 10. But I didn't want to, overgild the lily. I just wanted
overgild the lily.
To gild the lily. Yeah, the lily's beautiful enough, right? It doesn't need 4 was so 3 was great. I was happy with 3. Then my dear friend Charles Scott up in Kendal in Cumbria told me that they were reopening a club that was owned by my dear friend John T. Martindale, who unfortunately passed away in 2016, I think it was. And it was his club. They've revamped the club and they're reopening it for the first time in 7-8 years or something.
Wow.
And he said, we're going to be open by November. I said, right. He said, do you want to come and do your show? I said, I've got to. Of course I do. Of course I do.
Yeah.
Of course I will. Are you kidding me? That's, I played with Albert Lee in that room. I played with David Brown in that room after an after show party.
Yeah.
And then of course John T, is not here. So I said, yeah, let's do this. So we added the 4th. I had to add the 4th. I had to.
So, and again, that's a testament to you and your show and your music. And I think it's great that people are catching up.
Do you know what? It feels a bit like, wow, I've written these songs years ago.
Yeah.
I've got new stuff. I have got new stuff, but I'm keeping that for another project down the line.
So you're not playing any of the new stuff in this show?
There are 2 songs in the show that I've never officially recorded.
Oh, okay, cool.
And in fact, one of the songs I only have performed live once in 3 shows previously 10 years ago.
Wow.
So they're sort of new songs to people. But no, I'm doing these songs and they just seem to have connected with people in a different way. It must have something to do with the success of the Billy Joel songbook, because through the songbook performances, I've got better. I've got better as a singer, as a piano player, as a performer. Stepping away from the piano, we spend our, musicians, unless you're a guitarist down the front, and I spent my life behind a piano, learning to grab the radio mic and going down there and engaging with the audience down front, especially when you're surrounded by 2,200 people at Glasgow Concert Hall or the London Palladium. It's a lesson in how to communicate. You get it, you learn. I'm better at that than I was 10 years ago or 11 years ago when I was doing my. So maybe there's an element of us becoming better. But there's also, and it was Neil Fairclough that said this to me at the end of the second show. He said, it's also the fact that the world seems to have changed in the last 10 years. And social media social media has just taken over.
Yeah.
And it's taken over and it opens up avenues of diversity where so many more people see you and so many more people can do what they want to do, their own television programs, their own radio podcasts, their own gigs. You can be a star singing from your living room,
right?
And it's become so big that maybe just the world has opened up and all of a sudden, for instance, it was social media that put Billy Joel's song Vienna on the map. Vienna, we never used to do Vienna in the Billy Joel songbook. And we put it into the last tour because over the last 2 years, Vienna has become probably the most streamed Billy Joel song in the world. Bigger than all of his, bigger than Piano Man, bigger than, all of them.
Even Zanzibar had a brief stint on viral videos.
Yeah, dancing, like kids dancing to Zanzibar.
Right.
But now young people associate with that incredible lyric of Vienna and have made that song so popular via social media. When we did it in the show this year, and when we will continue to do it, it gets one of the biggest, ovations. And we're doing it in the first half of the show. It trounces a lot of the other stuff because it's
wow.
So with all of that change and young people sort of, much more coming at you because of social media. There's more of social media. Maybe my sort of music, which is classic written singer-songwriter, sort of in the style of Billy Joel with the same formula of the songwriting, verse, chorus, bridge, solo, old school songwriting. It's becoming, it seems, popular again. And maybe that's another factor.
I think
why we.
And I think Neil's on to something. The world has changed. Social media. I mean, hell, that's how I discovered you. That's how we became friends with social media. And but also I think your show. I mean, 10 years of doing the Billy Joel Songbook, starting off in smaller venues, working your way to bigger, but during that time you've been accessible. You're on here. You've done a lot of interviews. You engage. You sometimes engage people on social media and answer questions and talk to them. I think people, they've gotten to. They feel they know you. The Billy Joel Songbook. Fine, it's not your songs, but your interpretation. I think I don't know if you were on with me once, but I said it at one point on the show. I don't know anybody that interprets another songwriter's music. The only person I thought of was Roger Daltrey singing Pete Townsend songs.
Wow.
Roger Daltrey sings those songs like he wrote them. And he has such conviction. And so it's not your music, but it's still your performance. It's your energy. It's still your show. And I think all those factors of seeing you live. Even in this world of social media, nothing is bigger than the word of mouth still. So enough people have seen you. Yeah, and they're like, oh, that's the guy that does a Billy Joel thing. He's fun. I talked to him on Facebook once. He was really nice to me. People like that stuff. That means a lot. So I think that sticks with them. So when they hear you're coming, they want to see it.
That's very nice of you, Tony. And yes, it's an extension of what Neil was saying, that social media, social media has played such a massive role now, I think, in all of our lives. Whether it's music or politics, it's absolutely huge. There are some theaters now that don't bother with a poster. They don't print posters anymore.
Wow.
They said we don't even put posters up. We do everything on digital. We have digital billboards for a start, and so we don't need paper. And the rest of it, and most of it, is done on adverts on social media. That is huge.
We've had it here at Governor's. For those of you who are watching that might not be familiar, this studio is in one of the biggest comedy clubs in the whole U.S. But they've done it. They've had people here, that went viral, that were internet sensations, making their debuts, first time in front of a live audience, first time out of their living room, and they're and they're here selling out because it's gotten so big. And also, before you came on too, I read probably like 3/4 of Mark Whitehead's review of your show. Well, I left out some chunks of it because I didn't. There were times he almost pretty much gave out the set list, so I didn't want to do that. So I didn't read those parts. But I read a good chunk of it, and he even says, he's wondering towards the. I'm sure you read it. He's wondering why haven't more people.
No, I haven't. Has he posted it?
Oh, I wonder. I don't know. He emailed it to me, but it looked like it was
Well, I think that's lovely. I think that's I think it's lovely that he doesn't he's gonna post it.
I understood it that the way I read it, he obviously posted this somewhere. It's a review somewhere that he put this up, and he was just sending me a copy of it. That's how I was reading it.
He's an amazing writer.
And I had actually said that while reading it, and you know what? Maybe I'll forward it over to you when we're done here, because it's such a great review. It's such a great review of your show. And yeah, all right. So I'll read the end.
Thank you very much, Mark. I mean, Mark, like you, Mark discovered me because of Billy Joel. He bought a ticket to come and see this guy sing Billy Joel songs at his local theater. As a massive Joel fan, he was like, I'm probably going to have to leave after 20 minutes.
Oh, wow. Yeah, right. He's not going to like it. Yeah.
Yeah. And he didn't leave. And he's gone on to become, one of the way he writes is just, he's a lecturer at one of the most fantastic universities here.
Right. Yeah.
In the UK, in Aberystwyth University. So thank you very much, Mark. Thank you.
So he asks, why don't people know about Elio Pace? Why don't we hear his music on the radio more often? Why isn't he a superstar? I like to think that one reason is because Elio has become exactly the type of principled, independent musician he wants to be. It is because he has maintained an authentic alignment between himself, his music, and his life, which I thought was an interesting statement. I do agree with that. You've been able to make a living, and do what you want to do. You haven't sold out, but yet have had a celebrated career. You're not Brian May level, but you've managed to maintain a fan base and making a living doing what you love. I mean, that's the dream, right? Isn't that the goal for everybody?
And anybody who's in this business, Frank, you're a musician, trying to make a living at music.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There are so many different avenues that a musician can go down. Right? Don't get me wrong. Right? I mean, I can't. That's an amazing thing that Mark said there. But don't get me wrong. We all start off, I mimed in front of the mirror when I was 11 years old, wanting to be Elvis Presley, right?
Can you show us that right now?
Yeah, I had my headphones on. I had Elvis live in Hawaii, 1973. Aloha from Hawaii. The amazing sounding album. Loved it as a kid. I dreamt of being that, of being someone like Elvis Presley and all that stuff. But just like we lose our hair, life changes. Life changes around you. Your attitudes change towards everything. And it's not because you didn't achieve something. It's literally because you work out what makes you happy. You work out, in that instance, how fame isn't everything it's cracked up to be. I mean, a lot of people seem to want to be famous. A lot of people on social media brings people their 15 minutes of fame. Sometimes that 15 minutes of fame turns into an hour and 15 minutes of fame,
Yeah.
But I had all those young dreams of being a star, but it never overrode the fact that I wanted to be a really, really, really good musician, which, there's always more to learn. There's always more to learn. But that for me became the thing. But more than playing soccer, I used to love football. I dreamt of scoring the winning goal at Wembley Stadium for my team. I went for a trial with Southampton Football Club, right? Why did I do that? What, just for fun? No, because I wanted to be a footballer, When I think back to that, I go, no, oh my gosh, my heart really... That's not what I'm so glad music overrode that. So I changed everything to suit me. And that's when you start making decisions in life. I was offered many jobs. I won't name them, but I was I was given many opportunities to go down another route in music, a very lucrative, and another one. Oh, and then here's another one, but I didn't want to do that. I was asked to be musical director, permanent job, musical directing some of the biggest musical shows, right? I didn't want to do that. And that was with a huge company that, it was very lucrative. But I knew even back then, that's not what I want to do. Even going back to Opportunity Knocks when I was 20 years old. And I did Take You Home on the show, and I got signed up by a huge agency in London. They looked after two of our biggest comedians at the time, like British legends, Michael Barrymore and Les Dawson. And I got to work with other legends like Bob Monkhouse and Ronnie Corbett. And of course, I met Terry Wogan through all of that as well. And I was heading towards a route in show business, but nobody wanted to hear my songs. It was, we'll get to it, but go out there, silver jacket, go out there, do some Billy Joel, do some Elvis, and you'll do your 25-minute slot for these big, huge people, and they'll be big arenas. And I could have stuck with that. It wasn't enough. I knew it wasn't right. And when I had the phone call with the agency to tell them, I need to leave. I'm so sorry. They were like, what?
Right.
What? You're 21 years old, 22 years old. And I did. I said, I'm sorry, but this isn't part of what instinctively feels right for me. I pulled away, ended up disappearing to Norway for the best part of 7 years to do piano bars, to learn my craft. And I was happier singing in a bar behind a piano with sometimes 30 people, sometimes 2 people, sometimes 100 people from 6 nights a week, 4 hours a night. I was happier doing that than going down a route, becoming famous for something that I didn't want to be famous for, And so, yeah, over the years, I don't know where I get it from either. I don't know where this stupidity or this, all this bravery comes from. I really don't. There's a voice. It's been inside me since I was a kid. I've always known what makes me happy. And I've always failed a couple of times, said no to what doesn't. And for me, that's why I mean, look, and still, with all the decisions you make, you got to be lucky.
Well, right. And that's the thing. That's what's going through my head. All these opportunities you did have, being a musical director for, a big company. I think most musicians, would have been thrilled to get even that, and you still yet, just kept going with what felt right to you, which is
I could have gone down the library music route,
right.
Writing little those little links in between the scenes in Friends.
Right.
And then the next one. Right. There's a lot of money in that.
Yeah.
It's library music. And those little stings, if you get onto Friends, hello, you write a theme tune for a television program, or a film, it's, or you go into film music and which I love. Obviously, I love film music, but there are, or get a band together and just spend your life traveling around, making people dance at parties.
Right.
Be a dance band.
Sure.
There's a lot of money there. Private entertainment.
Right.
People will fly you to Australia or Dubai or America. We want you to come and play our annual conference. There's 3,000 people in Las Vegas. And, I've done it all. None of it made me happier than when I was writing my own material and hearing people enjoy it. And then the Billy Joel songbook was that moment where I said, I have to do this because Billy's music moves me in a way that nobody else's music, not Elvis, not Stevie Wonder, not Paul Simon, not McCartney, none of them. And I wasn't making money from doing my music. I
Right.
just couldn't. It's really difficult to keep a band together on the road, to pay for hotels and fuel and sustain that when you haven't got the advertising to tell people you're out there. So therefore, not many people come to the shows. You don't have the marketing or the money to make sure somebody plugs your records to national radio. And if your music doesn't fit into the criteria that national radio want, you're not going to get played anyway, right? I got lucky with What a Day. It just hit a mark with my Christmas song, but it's not easy. It is so not easy without money, without the backing of the right people. So I had to do something else. So that's why I created the Billy Joel songbook. And that's why I've not gone on to do, I did the Elvis songbook as well, but that was meant to be a one-off show to celebrate the 40th anniversary of his passing. It was literally meant to be one show. It turned into 2 tours because theaters were calling me going, "Oh, are you kidding? An Elvis show that doesn't include a white jumpsuit? Please."
Right. Yeah.
And I said, yeah, there's no, so that's why that happened. But even then, you learn that as much as some people loved it, the majority of people are just not ready to go and see an Elvis show without the white jumpsuit, without a beautiful, handsome guy with a black wig on, where no one else can understand. How you doing, baby? Because they want to feel that Elvis is I never saw Elvis, and we went down to our local theater and it was just like, oh my, that's what they want.
Right.
It doesn't seem, maybe another 10 years. And when I'm, the other side of 65, that maybe my show was just a little bit too new for most people. Maybe it needs another 10 years for that to take hold. But you see what I'm saying anyway.
So, all right, well, actually, hold on to that because I have a question with that. But just talking so much about Elvis, that was another part of Mark Whitehead's review. He wrote your song, "You Loved Me Too." I am convinced that if Elvis had recorded this, it would now be immortalized on his album of number ones. So I just wanted you to hear that. But so with all that, with what you just said, what made you decide now? Like, how did this become the right time to go back to the originals?
That's a great question.
Well,
Tony,
thanks.
Because when it's because of the Billy Joel songbook, it's because of the success of that. I mean, to even get a date at the London Palladium, you can't just get a date at the London. You have to go, your show has to go through scrutiny. They have to talk about it with all
Right.
meetings and stuff. When I got the call saying, we've got a date at the Palladium, I was like, I knew that wasn't just a matter of calling them up. Hello, do you want to be? No, And then I saw the ticket sales, not only for that show, but for the whole tour. It was like, what's happened here? This is amazing. Is it because Billy is getting old? Is it because, it's strange that Billy is performing outside of America and seems to choose Britain as his as the place he wants to keep coming back to.
Right. Yeah.
I keep telling myself, I think he's hoping that it will coincide with one of my shows. So on a day off, he can come and see our show, But no, I just felt it was time. I just felt, because that flame for my songs, for You Love Me Too, for Got the Bug Back, for Katie Likes House, for What a Day, it's never, ever gone out. It's never gone out. Of course, I sit up there every night singing these incredible songs written by Billy Joel and looking at the effect that great, incredible songs have on thousands and thousands of people. It keeps the flame alive. Don't let go. Don't let go, because even if it's 400 people going wild for your music, it's still a beautiful feeling. And hearing your song on the radio, it's a beautiful feeling.
Yeah.
So it just felt at the beginning of this year, January, I was thinking about what was going on, and we've got this German tour coming up. We've got the UK tour coming up. I said, there's going to be a gap between that and what's happening next with the songbook. I need to do something. What do I do? Do I put the Elvis show together again? Shall I do that again? And then it just hit me. I went, no, mate, go on, turn the heat up on the flame and get going. And it just all made sense. So that's why that happened.
Have I not been saying that to you all these years? You got to get those originals back out there. I even kept telling you should just sneak one in the Billy Joel songbook. I bet you.
Yeah.
I wonder how many people would actually know.
Well, you have been saying that, and other people suggested, why can't you sneak one of your songs? I couldn't do that. I would feel like I've cheated, like I've crowbarred one of my songs in, and I've cheated and lied to people to try and get them. It's like that's desperate. I'm so desperate to sing my songs that I've got to cheat and use Billy Joel as the audience. And so no, I didn't. I would never. I'll never do that.
You're so honest. One thing. All right, so I have a few questions from viewers and people that want to ask you questions. Real quick, before we get to that, I just wanted to quickly. One other thing that happened this year since we last talked was I brought my family out to England to see you.
You certainly did.
So I'm showing the picture again of us in front of London Palladium. I'm showing a picture of you and Zach laying on your blankets on the grass when we went to the park. Now
the bird show. Wonderful.
Yes, wonderful. Now, the next thing I want to show, I won't show if you don't want me to. Can I show the statues? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, if you want to.
Yeah, all right. I just want to make sure you're okay with that. So we were walking around, and so I'm showing the first statue. I don't even know who these people are, but I enjoyed the artwork of the statues. But then something very interesting happened. The last statue that we came across, I'm showing it right now. There it is. It's amazing.
Very famous statue.
Yeah, very famous. Very well done. I'm just amazed that Frank, can you see it?
Not yet. I'm waiting for it to come up on YouTube.
Oh, that's right. YouTube is on a delay. All right, so
On a little bit of delay. There it is.
Oh, if I have a YouTube, it'll be on YouTube with it.
Yeah. So it's
I see it now.
You see
you
see
take
the
it off
third
now.
one, Frank, or
I saw 2 busts so far.
okay. So all right, wait till you see the third one.
Oh,
Yeah, you,
is that him?
yeah, you can take it off now, Tony.
Okay.
You can take it off. Thank you.
And now the last photo I'm showing is just all of us. Me and Lisa and the kids, you and Amy, and you and your sister, your lovely sister, right there in the middle. We had just a wonderful time. It was just
It
fantastic.
was brilliant having you. It was just fantastic to see you here. It was nice to chill for a bit with you. You know. 'Cause
Yes.
Every time we see each other, it's at an airport for half an hour, or this, that, and the other. We went to a gig once in New York to go and see Albert Lee together at the Iridium, didn't we? But yeah, it was great to chat with him.
Okay, so now I am going to start with some viewer questions. Whoops. Hang on. Sorry. Okay. This first question was sent to me, audio was sent to me on my phone, so I'm going to play it for you now. So this first question, I hope you can hear it. I think you should. Here we go.
Hello, Tony. This is a question for Daddy. The question is, how do you feel having three girls joining your band?
Hang on. Don't answer this yet. Wait.
Bye.
I love that at the end. I was about to turn it off, and then all of a sudden I just hear this little bye.
And that's a good question.
Oh, it's a great question.
So can I say hello to Marcella?
Of course.
Marcella, hello, my lovely. I'm look straight down the camera. Hello, darling. Thank you very much for your gorgeous question.
Well, and speaking of gorgeous, I think you have. If you don't know Elio Pace's music, I don't care if you might not even like his music. He has got the 3 hottest backup singers ever. So go just for that reason.
Which, I'm sure you're not the only one to think that as well. But they're also amazing singers, and one of them happens to be my partner, Amy Rhiannon Worth. We've got Chloe Buswell, who I've known for over 20 years. I was asked to audition a whole bunch of actors, singers for a show. I wasn't going to be in the show. This is 20 odd years ago. He said, "Would you come and help me do these auditions?" The touring show was going on, and I said, "Yeah." And Chloe came in, and she sang "Son of a Preacher Man," and it was absolutely brilliant. It was brilliant, and it was it was head and shoulders above everyone else. And when she walked out, I went, if you don't employ her, I may as well leave. Because if you want my opinion, that's talent, you know. And we became friends. In fact, I gave her my card and I said, listen, do you want to sing in my band? You know, and she has been ever since. So Chloe Boswell.
She's great.
She is great. And then we have Sue Acterson, who has another name, Sue Wogan. For business purposes, she's Susan Acterson. And she is also a fabulous singer and happens to be the daughter-in-law of Terry Wogan. And when I met her, she wasn't. It was during the time that I knew her. She started dating Terry Wogan's son, Mark, and they married. We played at their wedding. And it was during their wedding that Terry and I reconnected again, having not seen him for 15 years since I was thin and had hair and did my covers on his show. For the Americans watching, Terry Wogan was our Johnny Carson. That's who he was.
Right. Yeah.
He was Johnny Carson. He had his own chat show. It was the most popular thing, and he was just a British legend. Unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago. Anyway, Terry then went on to start playing my music on the radio, and it was him that sort of made What a Day the hit, the minor hit that it's become. It gets played all around the world because he heard it first and played it first and said, this is my favorite Christmas song. And he played it on national radio on his Christmas Day show. So it was a strange coincidence, massive coincidence that Sue would marry Mark. And anyway, so Marcella, the question is, what's it like? Well, I absolutely love the sound. I love the sound of female vocals. Growing up with Elvis Presley, but not just Elvis, growing up with Andy Williams in the house, his music, and Perry Como and Engelbert Humperdinck and Tom Jones, but also, you know, David Bowie, Young Americans, you know, that sound of the gospel vocal thing. And American music, Glenn Campbell's music is filled with this beautiful American sound. Sometimes it's the sort of, you know, the Ray Charles, I can't stop loving you. Those sound of those voices, I just adore it. And gospel music, I adore it. And Elvis's Sweet Inspirations, I loved all that stuff. Dusty Springfield's album in Memphis is one of my favorites. I love it. So I naturally wrote music with that sound, part of that sound. I love horn sections as well. I love brass and trumpets and saxophones and trombones. I love all that sound. That's why I loved Huey Lewis. And that's why when I heard Easy Money on the Innocent Man album for the first time, which carries both. It goes ba-ba-da, ba-ba-da. The horn section is like Motown, Stax, and then Easy Money. The vocals, you know. I just love it. I just love it. So there was no way, and I tried it 10, 11 years ago just to keep the costs down, but it didn't work as well for me. And so when I said I'm coming back to do my own material, it was a no-brainer. In fact, I think the girls were the first, Amy and Sue and Chloe were the first people I told. I said, look, I'm thinking about coming back. Would you like to come back to the band? Because I did a couple of years without them, you know. So, yeah. So I love the sound. I love that sound. Now, it's not to say that every single song I'll ever write, as people will testify who have seen the show, at one point the girls leave the stage. At one point the horn section leaves the stage. But if I can, it's an expensive business. But to have them there for the bits I need them, it's an absolute luxury, and I hope to do more of it.
And I'm sure even on a personal level to see this great reaction from these crowds as you play your originals, and then you get to look up and you see your partner, you know, the beautiful Amy Rhiannon Worth there with you, sharing the experience. I'm sure, you know, that there's nothing better than that, I would think.
Yeah. But Amy's only doing the gig only doing the gig because she's awesome. She's fantastic.
Yeah.
She's versatile. She's such a versatile. She's not doing it just to make it easier. I paid her exactly the same as I paid everyone else.
Sure.
You know, and I really have. And that's not a lie. Because she's a professional and she's amazing. And if she's not going to earn money from me, she can easily go and earn money doing other things. But she's fantastic, as the other girls are as well. That they are beautiful, but they're my mates who sing really, really, really well.
Absolutely, yeah.
In fact, Amy's around somewhere. I'm not sure if she can hear me, but if she can hear me, I don't know if she's watching upstairs or something, but come down and say hello, Amy. Amy!
Well, if
look who's here. Look who's here.
Get out of the way, Elio. Get out of the way.
Look who's here.
Yay!
How are you doing? Hi there.
We're doing better now.
Tony's brother.
Oh, is this the first time you guys are meeting?
How are you?
Hi, Frank. How you doing?
Good. Nice to meet you.
Wow.
Nice to meet you too.
Wow. It's just so weird. I've been close to you two for such a long time. I just assume you know everybody in my world at this point. I'm surprised.
Strange, isn't it?
Yeah. Amy, we were just talking about you, and I was just singing your praises about how great it is that you're singing in the band.
Ah, that's so sweet of you. It's my privilege to do it, honestly.
Elio didn't say anything. It was all me.
Well, I love the music. I absolutely love it.
Good answer.
It's a privilege for me to sing in Elio's band. The standard of his musicians are just crazy. And the two other singers that I were with, Sue and Chloe. So it's a real privilege to be there. I wouldn't do back vocals for anyone, you know.
No, that's right. That's right. I know it. And it's great stuff. And I know he just said he pays you the same he pays the other singers. But do you like on the way to a gig when it's just you and him in the car, you're like, if you yell at me the way you yell at those other singers, you're a cut off for a month. Like does that go on?
No, it's the opposite, really. I think he'll be, because he knows he can. He can be extra honest with me.
Yeah.
So no, I'll get it in the neck, definitely. If I'm doing any mistakes,
and I appreciate
that Elio doesn't like, he'll tell me.
I appreciate you answering my stupid questions because they're obviously just stupid joking around. So I appreciate you answering them anyway.
Good point.
Sorry. No, go ahead, please.
No, go on.
Amy, I asked Elio this question a minute ago. I'll ask you: Is it extra special? I mean, yeah, the music is great, and I'm with you. I say that not because he's one of my best friends. It's just it is great music, and he does. He has the best musicians. He even like when one of his band members can't make a gig, like even the guys he brings in for a replacement are top notch. Always great bands,
absolutely. Yeah.
I'm not stupid, Tony.
Yeah, exactly.
Surround yourself with people who are better than you. Somebody once said that. Just surround yourself with talent. It
right, makes you look good. Right. So for Amy, so not only are you enjoying the music and the other musicians, but on a personal level, is it cool to share this experience as you see the audience is reacting so well to your partner's music? Does that factor in at all? Does that ever do you ever think about that when you're on the stage, or you ever look at them and be like,
yeah, I mean, I don't actually do that particular.
good.
But no, I absolutely think that. So I'm so proud of Ellie. I'm so proud of what he's done, and I'm even more proud now. Like you, I heard you saying earlier on that you've been telling him for years and hoping for years that he would find the opportunity or a way to get back to doing his own material. And I've been wanting that for him for so many years. So I'm even more proud of that. There's one particular moment that I love on stage. I love it all, but when he's singing Rose Rosse, this. Am I allowed to say?
Yeah, you can.
Oops.
I do an Italian song.
Yeah.
It's my songbook, my life. So I'll tell a little bit about my life and where it's all started, and being Italian, I'm very proud. British Italian. Right. I really am. Yeah. And so in the show.
My grandmother is Italian as well. So to have that moment on stage, there's little bits where we all the voices cross over and the girls sing with Elio, and I have a little bit where I sing with Elio, and
oh, nice.
That's magic. That's magic for me. That little moment. I love it.
Now the song is called Rose Rosse, which translates as red roses.
Oh,
right?
nice.
It's a very beautiful song of regret about getting a relationship wrong. Absolutely awesome, beautiful melody.
By who?
Well, the original. I'm embarrassed to say I've forgotten. I did know. I've forgotten who wrote the song, but it was a massive hit for a brilliant Italian crooner back in the 60s called Massimo Ranieri. And this song is so beautiful, and it is part of the fabric of Italian culture. It is as huge in Italy as Piano Man is in America.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It is. It's one of the biggest songs ever in Italian culture.
Wow.
So to do that song, and on the first night, my mum and dad were in the audience.
Nice.
With my sister Sandra. On the second night, I had my sister Juicy in the audience with her husband Gino, and Marcella was there. So I tie it all in. You know, there's an Italian section of the show, and that's the thing. And I do a little thing about music I was brought up with in the house and all that. You know,
and since Amy is giving the set list away, I will tell everybody that you're also doing Stairway, Freebird, and you end the show with American Pie. So
and
now
Mustang Sally.
And Mustang Sally. All right, now listen. Believe it or not, it's time to go. And I can't go late because I have another show, a sports show that's live at 1:00 that I have to get ready for. So I'm going to put you on the spot, Elio, and it's totally okay if you can't. Is there any chance we could either go live again after the sports show or just record? Because we promised all these viewers that we would answer their questions, and we didn't get to that. If we go.
You mean can we come back for part 2 later on tonight?
Yeah, just maybe. So this show is say around 2:15, 2:30 my time. So another a little around 2 hours from now.
Yeah, so
that's okay. You sure?
7:15 my time. Yeah, why not?
Amy, that's all right. I'm asking Amy.
Of course it is. Of course it is, Tony Walker.
All right. And Frank, of course, if you want to come back as well. I just feel bad. It's always, we joke about it personally. We get to talking and it just goes on. Next thing you know, it's, 4 hours later.
It's my fault because I always give long-winded, convoluted, highly detailed answers.
I do wish you would shut the hell up sometimes.
Frank said one word, one sentence for the whole interview, but it really counted. So,
I know it didn't.
I actually was going to ask real quick if we could try something. I don't know if it's going to work.
Go.
Did you want to try to do a virtual duet?
Well, all right. We'll do that later because I really have to sign off on this now. So we'll
Frank,
do that. We'll do that
to
later.
Come back. Well, there'll be a delay, but it'll be fun to try, right?
That's what I was wondering. I wasn't sure if the delay was going to matter or not.
All right.
Yeah.
And you're sure? I apologize for putting you on the spot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So if anybody wants to come back in a little bit, if you like sports, join us. Sports Bash is coming on at 1:00, and then probably around 2:15ish, we'll be back with Elio and Frank and Amy. If hopefully you'll join us as well.
So I might put a little post out on the good old social media, and what you're saying, 7:15 my time.
Yeah.
7:15. 7:15, which is 2:15 your time.
Yes.
Brilliant.
We might be, mark it down for 2:15. It might be, 5 minutes past that, but anywhere from 2:15 to 2:20 or 7:15.
Sure, if you don't think it's overkill, then
we promised. That's the whole thing. We do that every time. We promised the viewers that we'd answer their questions. We only got to Marcella's. That's it. So we gotta, we can't let these guys down. I got a whole bunch of them.
Okay. Oh no, I'd love to.
All right, I appreciate it. Okay. I appreciate you letting me put you on the spot live like that too.
No, not at all. In fact, the majority of people here in England will be home from work at that time, so it might actually work better. Yeah. Okay. Right. I'll see you in about an hour and 45 minutes.
Excellent. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Okay.
All right. See you in a bit. All right, so guys, we're going to sign off real quick before we go. Let me just mention what's coming up. So Sports Bash is coming up at 1 o'clock. Peter's got Hannah Storm. He's got some other great guests. Today is Thursday, so and I think that's it. After Sports Bash, that's it for the. We'll be back at around 2:15 with Elio, and then I think that's it for the day here at Govs. Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., Coffee with the Dog. At 11 a.m., I'll have comedy legend Rob Bartlett in the studio. And Donversations. I don't know if Don's doing a Donversations tonight or not. But I hope he is. Let's see what's going on at the club. Don't forget
Is Don coming as well at 2:15?
Don is not coming. No, Don's actually in Cleveland. He's working the football game. There's Thursday night football, the NFL. He's actually working the game.
Amazing.
Yeah, Don
Can
is.
I just say very quickly?
Yeah.
This is why I love talking to you on this station. Because what you're doing is exactly what I've done all my life. Work independently. You make up the rules. Nobody burdening down. No rules. Just do it. Do what your heart desires. Do what you feel. Go with the flow.
Yep.
It doesn't make you happy. Just makes you happy.
Yes, it does.
I love it.
Without
Thanks,
a doubt.
Tony.
Without it, that hit it right on the head. Thank you, pal. Okay, so don't forget going on at Governor's Thanksgiving Eve. Head on down to Florida. See Carrie Karavis and Fat Jay down there in the Palm Beach area. Don't forget December 13th, Gov's Comedy Club podcast. That's me and Don, basically. We're presenting Mike Pachetti and Friends and the Evil Twins of Comedy. Mark Riccadonna, Don Jameson. I'll be doing 5 minutes myself, and then Don is joining us on stage for a Q&A after the show, so you can ask us questions. Mark and Don and Mike will be available for pictures and hanging out. December 21st, Knockem Dead Comedy. We're going to be at McGuire's doing one of our fun murder mysteries. I've been showing this every day, pal. You got 2 more chances if you're in England to go see to see Elio Pace. And, of course, December 27th, go see David Clark at Westbury Music Fair. And we're trying to get David in here around that time.
Go and see David Clark. He
absolutely
is fantastic.
And speaking of Sports Bash, the show that's coming on at 1 o'clock, next week is a crazy week because it's a short week because of Thanksgiving. So on Monday, we have, I think, like 9 or 10 of our shows are playing all in the one day, which means I'll be here for like 15 hours. But it's going to be fun. So Sports Bash will be on 3 o'clock on Monday. But then on Wednesday, he will be on Wednesday at 1 o'clock. His guest, ladies and gentlemen, Elio, listen to this. His guest is Michael Del Giudice. So
fantastic!
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Go and see Mike Del Giudice. He is seriously another brilliant talent. Him and David Clark. That's all you need in America. That's all you need.
No, we need some Elio too. Absolutely. All right, we're out of here. See you at Sports Bash at 1 o'clock. See you back with Elio, Amy, and Frank at around 2:15. Thanks, guys.